Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. This is me, Rima.
Hi guys, I'm Emily.
Hey, I'm Luke.
All right. Okay, so guys, we are going to be doing an interview now. So all of you have probably, you probably don't know this, but we were just watching a scene from natural actor Nani, and obviously very impressed with whatever little glimpse that we got of him. And our AR Patreon Plus member, woo, Maisha. Hey, Maisha. So, Maisha writes to us. I'm going to just read her message quickly. I have a question. Are you guys open to checking out actor interviews? I know you've done Alu Arjun and RRR team before. Yes, Maisha, that is correct. If you are, I was hoping to suggest a Nani interview specifically. His interviews are always a treat since his perspective is a bit different from others due to his background. He was not part of a film industry family. He's a self made actor, began his career as an assistant director. Wow, that's impressive. I thought it might be fun to see your collective take on some of his responses, since you all seem to have experience in the film industry as well. Well, I have more of an author experience. Maisha, I'm an author, but Luke and Emily definitely can pipe in about the film industry, particularly here in the US. So
Totally.
we said, hey, Maisha, yes, we'd love to do that. And she sent us two links. And she goes on to say they're both to promote his latest film, DASARA, but the interviewers ask him questions that get into his background and opinions on things that are to do with the industry as well. They're somewhat lengthy, so it's totally cool if you guys choose to do a different interview. Much love. Oh, Maisha, that is so sweet of you to be considerate, to think about it. So we did pick one of your interviews. This is Nani's interview about the film Dasara. We just saw a scene, guys. That'll come out at some point. Luke, me, and Emily just saw a scene. So let's check out his interview with Anupama Chopra from Film Companion, which is quite a popular site where they do reviews and all of Indian films. All right, one, two, three, go.
Kibai was really outside in the world somewhere. I'm sure he'll have his vulnerable, side. When you actually write stories from your own life or your experiences, there's a certain depth to those stories. Those are very rare ones. You cannot let them go when they come to you.
You don't work with the superstar directors even when they want to work with you.
Is that
True?
He's kind of shy about it.
And it's such a pleasure to finally sit with you. I've been an admirer since
My
IGA.
pleasure, man.
I'm
Oh,
so
that's the
excited that
Fly
you're here
movie.
in Mumbai promoting Dasra.
Yeah.
Now, when I saw the trailer for the film, instantly reminded me of two movies, very successful films, Pushpa and KGF. Now, are the
These are
comparisons
big
flattering
cinemas, yeah.
or is it scary?
It's scary that everyone kept asking me this question, but yeah, in a way good only. But I know for sure it is something very away from those two films, and I know the film will anyway. Film has enough to once it releases. It's very different from those two, but it will make a mark, and I'm sure everyone will love it. And if the comparison with those two films is going to get more people to the theater, then I'm more than happy.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yeah, what's the problem exactly? Yeah.
So you describe this film as a perfect combination of mass and content.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, it is generally what happens when it's mass films. The focus on it's not that relatable. It doesn't look real. Generally, the mounting
Good
of the
point.
scenes, the setup, the emotions between the characters, all feel a little larger than life, little placed for that action to happen. It doesn't feel. You might not feel that, this could happen with me. This could happen
You can't
in our
relate to it as
street. This
much.
could
Yeah.
happen with my family. You might not have that feeling when you're watching the other scenes also.
It's like a
Those also
huge
feel
blockbuster that,
mounted
yeah.
to go in a certain direction to have those mass episodes or whatever you call. I think that relatability is there in this. Right? You will see the emotion. You'll see the situations and everything very relatable, very subtle, very real.
Wow.
But
Yeah, it does look
within that real
emotional.
space comes a moment which needs a larger than life moment, and then that leads to a mass which is absolute aggression, and it's not just slow motion shots, and it's not just about the making it powerful because of the taking of it. It is also because of the emotion behind it. So
Mhm.
when you forget that it's a film, when you
Can
start
you pause
believing
it,
it,
Tati, or give me the right
and
to pause it? So I was just going to quickly say, Emily, does that not kind of remind you of what Rajamouli? So, Luke, if you don't know, Rajamouli is a person who did the Oscar-winning song, the song that won Oscar, Natu Natu. He did the film RRR, which is what got started us, or what got us started on this journey for the channel. And he would in his interview, right? Didn't he say or something along the lines of the emotions are more important behind more than the action. And I think once we saw RRR, guys, check us out on Patreon. Me and Emily finished it off, the movie. We do see that, right? Like if you don't have the emotion, then the action doesn't make sense. So
Yeah, like I go to a movie, maybe I want to see a few explosions and
right.
stuff like that, but also I want to be able to relate to the characters and have that character building and something
Yeah,
that's
and care
also,
about their journey. Like why are they doing what they're doing? So yeah, so
why should
it's
I
interesting.
watch? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
You get involved, and then you also enjoy a mass moment on screen. That's a rare combination, I feel. So that I think
Mm.
is there with us.
Well, you've of course worked with Rajamouli, who's the king of
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Rajamouli, I was just
mass
checking
good.
of
Yeah,
movement,
yeah,
Raj.
yeah,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
He's
yeah,
done it
yeah,
all his
yeah,
life
yeah.
and done it so well. But the thing is, Nani, in this film, just look at your own image behind you, and you're almost unrecognizable,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You look and you
Amazing.
look again, and you're like, oh, this is Nani, right? But you talked in an interview about how the real stress was post backup because it would take sort of some 5 levels of cleaning up to get
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
makeup
yeah.
off. Tell
Wow.
me what it took to become this man, internally, externally, and do you miss him now that you're done with him?
I don't miss him at all. I'm so
I
happy
love
I'm
his
done with him.
Good
honesty.
It
riddance.
was really tiring and taxing mentally,
Yeah.
physically.
Why
Because
mentally?
mentally, because it's a very intense film, extremely intense film. You will enjoy what's happening on screen, but for me to just be in that character, that body language, and to feel what Dharni is
Mm.
very taxing because
When you're
this guy is
feeling
all
those
most of the
emotions,
time
yeah,
drunk,
I can imagine.
and that there's also reason in that particular place. Everybody drinks, not
So that's a village that
not for
he's the
pleasure, but
context, the
it's a way
backdrop of the
of
film.
life. And even the people who work in the coal mines,
Okay.
they drink and go work because
It's too hard.
it's too hard. They need that certain numbness to actually go and work.
Mm.
So whoever controls the bar in that village becomes the power
Hmm.
holder. So there's this drama around it. So there's a lot of um, angles to it, and there's a lot of emotion going on constantly. So there is no moment where I can just chill, relax on the set and crack few jokes. If I have to be on that arc continuously, so when you're constantly thinking which part of the film this is coming and is the mood right or not, so it is mentally taxing. At the same time, physically it is unbelievably tiring because we put this set of this village in 22 acres of
Wow.
land in outskirts
Wow.
of Hyderabad, and we filled it with that black dust because it's a village from coal mine. So the moment
Oh.
we get down the caravan, it's like the dust is all over us, and um, through the day when you're inhaling that dust, so the nights we couldn't sleep properly. Every 1 hour I used to get up, and then I used to feel that little congestion in the chest and all that. So it was like I was literally, this is the first film. Every time, generally, when I'm getting done with a shoot, I'll be like, I'll feel that I'll miss those costumes, I'll miss that get up, being that character. This film, I was counting this. I was like, when will this get done?
Oh,
So yeah, it was very
You're
extremely.
done with Dharni.
I'm done with Dharni, and but I'm very proud of Dharni,
Right.
what we have done and
that's what's
how it
important.
shaped up.
Mm.
So very, very excited for March 30th, but I just don't want to get back into that get up or do anything related to that.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it just to ask you guys. So, I mean, this is something Maisha also asked us to give your experiences. So, obviously, I am mostly at home when I do my writing, so I don't have these experiences. I create these worlds in my head. I mean, not these worlds, but more like a mystery world. But I wanted to ask you, Luke and Emily, any set experiences you've had where what he's talking about, can you relate to it? Maybe with your own or things you've heard of. Emily, we'll start with you.
I mean, I totally understand what he's saying. Like, I remember when in like, and like when I was in a show
Right.
recently, the conversation, like there were some people in the show that were kind of like goofing off, like whether it was in the
Mm.
background or it's like, you can't be in such an intense scene and then
Right.
go talk to your friend about like, oh my god, blah, 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 blah. Like you have
Yeah.
to be, because then that takes you out of the world. Like it doesn't even
Yeah. Yeah.
necessarily have to be just like method acting. If
Right.
you are distracted and in between each take you're going to mess off and do
Mhm.
whatever, it's like you're not gonna be back in the world when you were when they just said cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I totally understand what he's saying with that. And like sometimes there's some roles in some shows that it's like I'm thankful for this opportunity, but like I
Mhm.
can't wait to leave.
Yeah,
like
I could imagine.
like you're thankful for it, but it's like okay, thank you, next, ready to move on. But yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
did
interesting.
this.
I can see how difficult this show probably was for him.
I did
Luke,
this
yeah.
one thing where I was in old car, so no AC, and
Oh.
hot sun. I was in a leather jacket as well,
Oh, wow.
so very sweaty. But I had a lot of fun doing it. And afterwards, looking back, I'm like, oh man, I wish I could have just done more. It was
Right,
so
right.
fun, and it's sometimes there could be like 12-hour days, and
Oh, that's
afterwards
crazy.
you're so exhausted, but you just feel like I did a good job today. I put in the
Mhm.
work, and now I can relax and do the whole thing again tomorrow. So
Yeah, but with the heat, oh God, I'm terrible with heat. Like even
Yeah.
now, like I've got the AC on because I'm like, can't stand the heat. But yeah, no, that's yeah, that sounds bad, Luke. I'm sorry.
it
Doesn't
was it
sound
was
good.
fun, but
Eh,
it was intense.
for sure. All right.
Nani, as I was watching the promo, I was thinking that the characters that you've done have been very, largely speaking, sort of vulnerable, right? They don't sort of go into that area of very hyper masculine heroism. I remember Jersey weeping with your character because and people calling him a loser and all of that happens in that first half, and and
Did
and
we
you were
see
okay
a clip from
to
that?
do that, which a lot of
I think we didn't see that. We saw Tuck Jagdish, guys. So me and Emily, I think we saw a different film. But yeah, no, I think I saw the trailer of Jersey with Jaylee. So it is up in our channel, guys. But maybe we could watch it together. But yeah, yeah, that was something in mind because a lot of people have been requesting it. So let us know. But yeah.
lot of leading men perhaps wouldn't have been,
Correct, correct.
right? But Dharni feels like he is larger than life. He is very violent. So, do mass heroes necessarily have to be hyper masculine?
He is actually very vulnerable guy.
He is.
Dharani is extremely
Mm.
vulnerable. I feel everybody is vulnerable. Even the so-called whoever is whatever that hyper masculine guys are also vulnerable. It's just that we don't show that side of them.
Mhm.
On
We
screen
just
we
have to
don't.
guess it.
Yeah, we just have to guess it, and we don't in films. We just don't explore that part of them. We want to believe that he's all the time,
You think
24/7
Rocky
like.
Bhai is also vulnerable?
I'm 100% sure, but we wouldn't have ever explored.
I don't know
I'm
who they're
saying if
talking about.
Rocky Boy was real,
You have to
if he
build a
was
full
there
character,
outside in the world
So
Oh.
somewhere, I'm sure he'll have his vulnerable.
I think Rocky Pie might be referring to KGF, like one of those big epics, or not epics, but one of those action movies they showed in the beginning. I think comparisons to his movie Dasara, they were like KGF, and the other one was Pushpa. So I think Rocky Pie is the protagonist in one of those. I think it's KGF. Guys, let us know in the comments if we are correct, and correct us because I know you always let us know your thoughts.
Side,
Mhm.
100%. So I believe in that, and I don't think it's possible for someone to be vulnerable at all at any
Yeah,
point of
yeah,
time.
that's
So even Dharni is vulnerable. You'll actually see that he could be the most vulnerable guy I have ever played in my career.
Really?
oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
That's a big
Well,
yeah.
I will be looking forward to your review on March 20th. Let's see. I don't know. This is my feeling, but let's see. Yes.
So, Nani, who was the inspiration as an actor for you? Now, this role is seen as you getting out of your comfort zone. So, who was the inspiration for you to do this?
I've always constantly tried to get out of my comfort zone, but this is like an extreme
Right. Yeah.
opposite of. But in my inspiration is the director of this film,
Shrikant.
Shrikant Odal. I kept looking at his body language. It's his language. It's his slang which we spoke in the film. He comes from Godarkani. He speaks to me like Dharani.
It's like a
And his
rural
father
region of
worked in
Andhra Pradesh,
coal
of
mines as
Telangana.
dumper driver for
Sorry,
40
Telangana.
years. So the characters, the language, every small detail comes from his own life. So he literally is the guy who I need to follow. So whenever he used to speak, whenever he used to do something, I just used to notice him. And even when some the dialogue writer used to come and tell me something, I used to wait till this guy says it from his mouth, so I can get
Mm.
it, because I can only follow one character. I can't in one shot be like Shrikant and one shot be like writer. So unless he comes and gives me the line, unless I find put something into the character of his thing, so that's one direction for me to understand Dharani better. So that's what I follow.
You've said that Shrikant is the next big thing, and they say about you that
So this director, I think it's his first film. So he actually Nani. I mean, he's obviously now a superstar. But one of the things Maisha was saying, he started off his journey as an assistant director. So he basically gave this guy Shrikant, the director of Dasara, his first film. So that is an interesting thing that he's also giving opportunities, right, to people, and like they're now saying like Anupama Chopra, the interviewer, is like, oh, he's going to be the next big thing. But yeah.
you don't work with the superstar directors even when they
Mm.
want to work with you.
Not
Is
really.
that true?
Not really.
His
Not when
smile
they
is so
want to work with
endearing.
me. No, but problem is I ask for a script.
And they
Uh,
don't want
Oh,
to give it.
no, not if they all know
that's
that.
weird.
So even when they want to, they might be thinking, what if we go and then what if he says not this script? So they will have their fears, I'm sure. I'm not the guy who will say, combination acha hai, let's jump in. No, it's not that. Him and me and let's do a film. I don't understand that logic.
You have
There's
to see the story.
Yeah, we need to know what we're going to do,
Mm.
and if we're all happy and excited about it, let's go and do it. A lot of producers come to me and say, sir, this year you have to do a film for us. How, like, which film? What film? They are like, from July you have to give us this. From July, what are we doing? So if without knowing, I can't really. That's my biggest problem. Like, I can't blindly say, I like your work before, so let's do a film. No, but what if I don't like what you? Yeah, particularly when I like your work, I want you and me, our combination to be the best work. So I can't like blindly jump into the project. So that happens very rarely. I did work with few big directors, including Rajmouli sir and all. I worked with Rajmouli sir. I was almost like no one. I was like just 4 or 5 films old. Rajmouli sir was already a huge director. Rajma,
Magadira had been made.
yeah, Magdira was made, and I
So
was
with
just his
Ram
appointed
Charan, another
actor.
big actor.
He called me home. Ramagaru nicely treated me with some food and all that. He sat and he narrated me the whole thing. I don't see that thing happening with everyone, so I like to go in my own way where everybody respects everybody, where it's all comfortable. And for me, it doesn't matter if it's an experienced director or a new director. Talent is talent, whether it's new or old. So I feel
So true.
something
Yeah.
exciting comes my way, I just jump in.
So how do you know when you say Shrikant Odella is the next big thing? What do you look for in a first-time director?
I look for a certain honesty. Does he have his own voice,
Mm.
or is he trying to mock, imitate someone? So, if if his genre is something which is better to be, if he's imitating, it's okay. That's okay. If he's, let's say, somebody came with a great idea, which is very mainstream, which is like a proven formula kind of a film. If he's imitating, that's fine. But if he's coming up with an idea which is original, then he needs to have a very original voice to put that
Mm.
out there.
That's a
So
good point.
Yeah.
I look for a certain honesty, which I cannot really tell you what exactly is the format of, or
You feel it.
you feel
If you
it. It's
know,
just
you
gut
know.
feeling. You know
Yeah.
that this guy is not trying to sell this film to me. He's not trying to start a
Mm.
project with me. You know this guy is really invested into this one, and whatever he's saying is, his approach is honest towards what he wants to make with me. So that is what I follow. Not every time it works, but when it works great.
All right, I want to just do a quick sort of, your guys, or like our take on what he was just saying. It seems interesting that he said that a lot of times with movies, people don't give scripts or don't do a narration. Have you guys had experiences with things like that? I mean, are like, because he talks like in depth, right, about his selection process and what he's looking for. I'm just
I
wondering,
mean,
Emily, if were you
I
able
think
to relate?
that's a very successful
Yeah,
actor thing to say.
yeah. I
Yeah, it, yeah, it, yeah, 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 yeah,
guess,
yeah,
I guess you're, yeah,
Like
yeah. That's a
to
good point.
be, do you have the privilege to say, uh know more often.
You don't
Mhm.
get to be as
Um,
choosy when you're more small
yeah,
town.
that's unique. That's a more successful actor thing down the line. I mean, I've done projects where it hasn't been as like this is a script, this is
Mhm.
choreography, this is like it's been more like collaborative work where you kind of create the ending product together. But this is rare, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But traditionally, when you audition for something, you don't necessarily see the script
Right.
Fair,
beforehand.
fair, fair, fair.
No, you just kind of go for it.
Yeah. No, I think the process obviously here, and I think for you guys who are getting some insight from Luke and Emily and me too, because obviously they're actually in the field, they're actually working, they're current actors, contemporary actors. So you have to go through a competitive auditioning process to get roles, and so it's
Mhm.
a quite a
Very
grueling process, but I'm
competitive.
sure also satisfying when you land a good gig. But for Nani, like Emily was saying, he's a superstar. So people are coming with him being like, give us your dates. And that's a whole new ball game. But it does seem like I like his mind and I like how
Uh-huh.
sorted he is. Usually when people ask questions like this, I mean, maybe because he's been an assistant director, maybe because he understands the production side of things, he seems very, like, I don't know, I would love to know your take. He seems very sorted, right? Like the way
Very
he's,
sure of himself. Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
He's
yeah,
saying
And
he
he
values
worked for it, right?
honesty. Yeah, he
yeah,
also himself seems very honest, and just
yeah.
speaking very truthfully, even if it's not, the best thing to say, it's what he feels.
Right, right, for sure.
I respect
Yeah.
that.
How did you train for the specific Telangana dialect?
Thanks
So
to
that's a local
Shrikant and
dialect for the
Shrikant's
film.
entire team are his friends from that same area. So he has a 10
Mm.
people team. All of them are hardcore rural Telangana. And if if I have to cross these 10 layers of filtering, then I'm sure I'll get perfect Telugu. I didn't even have a doubt that if I was sounding right or not, because even a small what is it, small pronunciation is wrong on location,
They'll stop you.
they'll all be like no. Even six of them say okay, but the four of them will be there who will say no, it's not completely right. So I was like, if I passed all of them, then there's nobody who's going to stop me. Yeah.
The
Love that.
ultimate test.
Ultimate test. Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Wow.
speaking of sort of honesty, you started as an assistant director with Bapu. And I still remember watching as a little girl Hum Panch.
Bunch. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh
And
my.
just
Yeah.
being struck. And I didn't obviously know anything about cinema, but I've never forgotten scenes in that film and Mithun Chakravarti's performance in that film.
That's an
What do you
Indian
learn
legendary
from Bapu?
actor.
Hmm.
Bapu gar, I'm extremely proud that my career started with him, because my first film was Radha Gopalam, which Bapu Garu.
Okay, I think we're going to pause here, guys, because obviously we're at the end of our shooting time. So, guys, we're just going to do a quick kind of reflection. This is part one of our in depth interview with Nani, which has been quite exciting and interesting to hear. So, guys, maybe your final thoughts on what you thought so far about Nani. Emily?
I mean, same things that we've just been saying. He seems like he has really worked to get to where he is
Yeah.
at, and he knows it, which is respectable. And obviously, he is a very talented actor that has really worked hard. And I would really enjoy seeing some of his films for sure. He seems like a very talented man.
Duke?
Yeah, I mean, just exactly what Emily is saying is you could tell that he's put in the effort, and it's really
Yeah.
inspirational, honestly. And I feel like there's a lot I could learn from him, even seeing some of his stuff. So
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's a self-assuredness, like he knows what he's looking for, but there's also a humility, which is very endearing. Like I think he's got obviously a very nice smile, like just the way he's speaking. I could see him as someone who would be easy to talk to, right? Like you kind of feel like he would be someone you could have a easy conversation with, which is amazing given what a big superstar he is. So it's and he's also open to criticism, like the fact that he had people on set like just assistants to the director being like, you're not doing it right enough, and he's like, yeah, sure, okay, let me fix this. So we love that sort of a student, still after so many years of doing such powerful performances. All right, guys. So this was our reaction again to Maisha, our AR Patreon Plus members' request to do Nani's interview. We have ended this at the midpoint, so we will pick this up next time. So we'll probably do a part one and then a part two of this interview. And again, if you enjoyed our reaction, you're seeing us for the first time, please do subscribe to become part of our beautiful AR family. And if you want us to do your exclusive request like we did for our AR Gold Plus member Maisha, do consider becoming a Patreon member. Link is down below. We also do all of our full unedited footages are up on Patreon. All our YouTube block videos are also up there. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.